Bank employees are trained to listen for certain phrases, and if you say the wrong one, it can cost you thousands of dollars. Some of these phrases seem completely harmless. Others feel polite, even responsible. But each one on this list can quietly put your money at risk, trigger a red flag, or open the door for someone to take advantage of you. Here are the 10 things seniors should never say at the bank and what to say instead. Number 10. I don't really check my statements. This phrase sounds innocent, almost like a small confession, but it tells anyone listening, including someone who shouldn't be listening, that unusual activity on your account could go unnoticed for weeks or even months. Fraud experts consistently point out that the accounts hit hardest by scams are the ones nobody is actively watching. A charge that seems slightly off, a withdrawal that doesn't match your normal pattern, none of that gets caught if statements sit unopened on a counter or unread in an inbox. Some people go months without logging in at all, assuming that if something were wrong, the bank would simply call and tell them. But banks typically flag only the most obvious fraud patterns automatically. Smaller, repeated charges or a single large withdrawal that looks like it could be legitimate often slip through unless a real person is paying attention. Instead of saying this, it's worth telling the bank the opposite, that you review your statements regularly and even setting up account alerts for any withdrawal over a certain amount, any login from a new device, or any change made to your account information. That single habit, checking consistently and turning on alerts, closes one of the easiest openings a scammer looks for, because the entire scheme depends on you not noticing until it's too late.
Number 9. My son handles all my finances now. Or any version of that sentence naming a specific family member. This one feels natural to say, especially if a family member genuinely does help you. But saying it out loud at a bank counter, especially to a teller you don't personally know, creates a problem. If a scammer later calls pretending to be that exact family member, claiming there's an emergency and money needs to be sent immediately, the story already has built-in credibility because the bank and anyone nearby now knows that name is a trusted contact. Scammers have been known to gather details like this simply by listening in public spaces or through casual conversation. A safer approach is to keep those details private, and if you do need a trusted contact on file for legitimate reasons, ask the bank about their formal trusted contact program instead of mentioning it casually within earshot of others. Number 8. I got a call saying there's a problem with my account. This phrase feels responsible, like you're double-checking something with the actual bank. But here's the issue. If you say this and then hand over the account number or additional details from that phone call to verify it, you may actually be helping a scammer complete their scheme, because many of these calls are designed to get you to confirm details, not to fix anything. Real banks do not call you and ask you to confirm your full account number, your card number, or a one-time passcode. If you receive a call like this, the correct move is to hang up entirely and call the number on the back of your card yourself, not the number the caller provided and not a number they say to call back. Then, if you do go into the branch, say exactly that. I received a suspicious call and want to verify my account is secure, rather than repeating the caller's claims as if they were confirmed fact. Number 7. I want to send money to help my grandson. This phrase, or any version involving a grandchild in trouble, is one of the most common triggers in what's known as the grandparent scam. Scammers specifically target older adults with panicked phone calls claiming a grandchild is in jail, in an accident, or in some kind of legal trouble overseas, and that money needs to be wired immediately, often with a request to keep it quiet so as not to worry the rest of the family. Saying this phrase at a bank counter, especially paired with urgency, is often the exact moment a trained teller will start asking gentle follow-up questions, because this pattern is so recognizable. Before sending any money based on an emergency call like this, the right move is always to independently contact that grandchild or another family member directly, using a phone number you already have saved, not one given to you during the call. Number 6. I don't have a password manager, just tell me. This one usually comes up when someone at the bank, or someone claiming to be from the bank over the phone or online, asks for login details, a PIN, or a one-time code, and the response is essentially handing it over because remembering multiple passwords feels overwhelming. It's an understandable feeling. Juggling different passwords for banking, email, and other accounts is genuinely frustrating, and saying, "just tell me," can feel like the simplest way to get through an already confusing conversation. But no legitimate bank employee will ever ask you to say your full PIN, password, or one-time verification code out loud, over the phone or through email, under any circumstance, for any reason. If someone is asking for that information directly, that alone is the clearest sign something is wrong, regardless of how official they sound or what urgent reason they give. The safer habit is refusing to share any of those details verbally, no exceptions, and instead using a simple written password list kept somewhere secure at home, or a basic password manager app that only requires remembering one master password. That way, you're never in a position where saying, "just tell me," feels like the easier option, because the information simply isn't something you'd ever say out loud in the first place. Number 5. I trust you. Just do whatever you think is best. This phrase might feel like a compliment to whoever you're speaking with, and in a lot of everyday situations, trusting someone's judgment is perfectly reasonable. But at a bank, handing over decision-making authority this loosely, especially regarding investments, account changes, or large transfers, removes an important layer of protection: your own informed consent. Even well-meaning bank representatives can make recommendations that aren't right for your specific situation, your goals, or your risk tolerance, simply because they don't have the full picture of your finances the way you do. And in less well-meaning situations, this exact phrase can be used to justify decisions you never fully understood or agreed to, decisions that are difficult to reverse once they're made. A better approach is asking direct questions before agreeing to anything, such as what the fees are, what the alternatives are, what happens if you change your mind later, and asking for everything in writing before signing off on any decision, no matter how much you trust the person sitting across from you. Trusting someone doesn't mean you shouldn't still understand exactly what you're agreeing to. Number 4. I already gave my information over the phone. This phrase often comes up after someone realizes something felt off about a call they just received, and they mention it at the bank hoping to fix it. But by this point, if you've already shared your account number, social security number, or a verification code with a caller pretending to be your bank, the damage may already be in motion. The moment you say this at the counter, staff should immediately treat it as a security emergency, which means the smartest move is saying it as early and clearly as possible, instead of downplaying it. Tell them exactly what was shared and when, so they can freeze the account, issue new card numbers, and monitor for suspicious activity right away. The real lesson here isn't just about the phrase itself, it's about acting the moment you suspect information was shared, rather than waiting to see if anything actually happens first. Number 3. I want to withdraw all of it in cash. Large cash withdrawals are one of the biggest red flags banks are trained to notice, especially from older customers, because this exact request shows up constantly in scam cases involving courier fraud, fake tech support schemes, and various emergency wire scams, where victims are told to withdraw cash and hand it to someone in person or mail it somewhere. Saying this phrase, especially paired with any urgency or a story about needing to help someone quickly, will almost always prompt a bank employee to ask careful questions, and that's actually a good thing, not an inconvenience. If you do have a legitimate reason for a large cash withdrawal, explaining the actual purpose clearly, rather than becoming defensive or vague when asked, helps staff verify it's a normal transaction and not something you're being pressured into by someone else. Number 2. I don't want to bother my kids with this.
This phrase usually comes around financial decisions, suspicious activity, or a scam attempt when someone feels embarrassed or doesn't want to seem like a burden by looping in family. Unfortunately, this exact hesitation is something scammers count on because isolation is one of the most powerful tools they use. Many fraud schemes specifically include instructions telling victims to keep the situation secret, claiming it's confidential, urgent, or embarrassing, precisely because a victim who stays quiet is far less likely to get a second opinion that might expose the scam. Involving a trusted family member or friend before making any major financial decision isn't bothering them. It's exactly the kind of safeguard that stops most scams before any money changes hands. If something feels off, saying it out loud to someone you trust is one of the simplest and most effective protections available.
And now, number 1. The single biggest phrase you should never say at a bank. I've already sent them some money, but I think I need to send more to fix it. This is the phrase that shows up at the exact moment when a scam has already progressed, and it's often the last opportunity for anyone, whether that's a bank teller, a family member, or a friend, to step in before serious financial damage happens. This pattern is extremely common. Someone sends an initial amount believing it will resolve a supposed problem, a legal issue, an overdue fee, or an emergency, and then they're told they need to send additional money to release funds, cover a fee, or complete the process. Each additional payment feels like it's finally going to fix everything, but it almost never does. If you ever find yourself saying this sentence or even thinking it, that is the exact moment to stop everything and speak with a bank employee directly. Explain the entire situation from the beginning and let them help you determine whether this is a scam before sending another single dollar. Banks have seen this pattern so many times that trained staff can often recognize it within the first few sentences. None of these phrases make you careless or foolish for saying them. Scammers are professional at creating situations that sound urgent, believable, and personal. The real protection isn't about being suspicious of everyone you talk to. It's about knowing which phrases open the door and having a few simple habits in place so that door stays closed. If this video helped you feel more prepared next time you're at the bank, hit that like button so more people can find it. Subscribe for more videos like this one and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.